Hi everybody and welcome to Lost Genre, Am I the A-hole? On this video we're going to take a look at 4 different stories where the community has deemed that everybody sucks. So let's get going and start with the first one. My ex's wedding was in February, and like you could guess, I wasn't personally invited nor was I told anything about it from him, even though we spoke daily. We dated for 3 years before he got into his relationship with her. Well, I found out about it from his grandmother. We're close, and she suggested I gatecrash and that she would cover for me. I think she doesn't like the bride. I was interested in going because I wanted to find some closure since we had broken up rather quickly a few months before and I still wasn't over him. So I said yes. The day came and his grandmother snuck me in and we watched the ceremony. It was beautiful. I shed a few tears, but it really solidified things. I was ready to leave afterwards, but his grandmother pushed me to go to the reception as well and sit next to her at the family table. Pretty awkward, but I went. I was still mingling with the family, standing up, when the bride and groom came. They came and greeted, and she congratulated me on the pregnancy. I thanked her and said something about how I couldn't wait to co-parent with the two of them. Turns out, she didn't know that I was pregnant, 5 months at the time, with his child the whole time. She lost her shit and ran out. He tried to run after her, but then her dad came and started a scene. Lucky for me, my ex's brother came and helped me get out of there as soon as possible. My ex still asks for updates, but I recently heard from his grandmother they broke up and got an annulment. The bride weirdly still follows me and comments/likes my pictures, so I think she's fine with me, but still. Am I the a-hole for gate crashing my ex's wedding and causing the marriage to get annulled? Whoa, that one took a turn in the middle I was not expecting. She's pregnant and the dude didn't say anything to the bride. That poor bride. Let's take a quick look at what the community say. So Pine Valentine says, everybody sucks except the bride. Totally agree. You for crashing the wedding, his grandmother for convincing you to crash the wedding, and him for keeping a child secret from his bride. I'm glad she got out of that marriage because all of you sound dramatic and hard to be around. I totally agree. The bride has no blame in this one. However, if we had to rank OP, grandma, and groom, groom wins the a-hole title in this one. Cat Samuel says, everybody sucks. You're the a-hole for gate crashing a wedding you weren't invited to. Yes, that's never cool. Grandmother is the a-hole for sneaking you in. Your ex is the a-hole for not telling the bride you were expecting his baby. The only innocent person here is the bride. Completely agree. And Crazy Mike says, everybody sucks here. Grandma is a troublemaker. Yes, he should have told his fiancée and you knew damn well what you were doing. Agreed on all accounts. What do you guys think? Just go ahead and give your opinion on the comment section. Now, let's move on to the next post. A few years ago, I met this woman, Maggie. She was on a work visa originally from Europe. After casually dating for a few months, she told me she was pregnant and she wanted to keep the baby. I wasn't happy about this at all. This was not how I pictured starting my family. I was always careful and wore protection, even though she told me she was on birth control. I am the father without a doubt. DNA test. After many discussions, I resigned myself to my fate of becoming a dad. I had no interest in having a romantic relationship with Maggie, something she kept pushing for. So the baby arrives and I just fall in love with her instantly. I ended up loving being a dad to her, and me and Maggie seem to be doing an okay job of managing to co-parent. Also, my whole family is here and have always played a big part in our daughter's life. Her mother has visited once. One day out of the blue, Maggie tells me she's met someone. Initially, I'm okay with it, only slightly concerned as this will be a new person in our daughter's life. Then she hit me with the kicker. He lived all the way on the East Coast and she planned on moving and taking our daughter with her. It was like a gut punch. I immediately told her that wasn't happening and I wouldn't allow it. It turned into a pretty big screaming match with her pretty much telling me she's doing it and there's nothing I can do to stop her. I did try and talk her out of moving a few more times. She refused. I asked if she would consider handing me primary custody. She refused. I asked her to leave our daughter here with me for the first few months just to see if they would work out. She refused. I asked if he would move here. She said he couldn't and never gave any real reasons. For the next few days, I couldn't eat or sleep properly. On a conversation with my brother, he told me to go talk to a lawyer. Something about my brother, he's always been a calculating SOB. Remember that work visa? He reminded me to bring up the fact that it had expired quite a while ago. Well, I did that. Long story short, Maggie got deported and banned from entering the country for several years, and I got full custody. This wasn't my first choice, but I'll take it over only seeing my daughter once, possibly twice a year. My work doesn't permit me much time off. At best, I would have only been able to fly out 2 times in a year. I was telling a close friend a story and she told me I did the wrong thing and that I shouldn't have taken a daughter away from her mother. I said she planned on taking her away from me and playing house with a man I knew nothing about and she barely knew. I did agree to fly out once and she cancelled. Never tried to rearrange anything more. She does video chat with our daughter regularly and my daughter knows who she is. So, I'm here asking, am I the a-hole for having the mother of my daughter deported? Oh man, these just don't get easy at all, do they? I think OP is the a-hole and I also think this Maggie lady is an a-hole, so yeah, everybody sucks. Getting deported is on her. She should have had her visa up to date, because in any case, if they would have gone to court, then those documents would have been called upon and she probably would have gotten deported anyways. Also, I'm not sure she can legally take the baby so far away without your written consent, but that depends on the country anyways. Alright, well let's check what the community's saying. SCKR says, everybody here sucks. She shouldn't plan to move so far away without your consent. That shouldn't be legally possible with shared custody. But you deported the mother of your daughter. Holy shit. You will pay a fortune of therapy sessions. Oh yes you will. Imagine having that awkward conversation with your daughter. Why did you deport my mother? Man. Call me Ishmael517 says, everybody sucks here. You could have gone to court and tried to get a custody arrangement which would have prevented her moving. You could have told your ex about her visa and given her a warning. Now your baby won't see her mom for 6 years. You are a huge a-hole. Obviously, she is also the a-hole for trying to move cross-country. All very fair points. However, I still think Maggie should have been on top of her own visa. She's an adult. Alarming System says, you're the a-hole. You're clearly legally recognized as the father. If she'd moved away within the country, then you could have worked out some form of custody that enabled you to see your daughter regularly. In fact, as she was the one moving and willingly appending your child's life to her new partner, you could have even stood to get majority custody. Instead, you went from 0 to 100, and now Maggie cannot even be in the same country as her own daughter. Yes, Maggie played dirty by planning to move away from you without even consulting you, but you went nuclear. Agreed, but then by this logic, everybody sucks and not just OP being the a-hole. Maggie is also an a-hole in this one. Yes, she got the short stick and OP was the bigger one, but still, everybody sucks. If you have an opinion on this one, then just go ahead and put it in the comment section. So now, we're moving on to the next post. My sister, 16, has been bullied by 2 girls, Sarah and Jessica, over the past couple months. They share one class together. I'm 17 and next year is my senior year. I've been in this city for the entirety of high school and I love it here. I'm the founder of the hiking club where we usually pull up about 40 kilos of garbage every time we go hiking, and I'm the captain of the rugby team. I'm trying to get a scholarship at the top university in another country and I'm absolutely sure I can get it. My sister, however, has been constantly complaining about how she's being bullied. It's never physical, it's just some girls occasionally say mean things to her in person and occasionally online, some of which I feel she might deserve a bit. For example, one time where she got everyone in trouble because she refused to admit to cheating off other people on a test. She cheated off of them and copied their wrong answers word by word. The teachers couldn't figure out who cheated on who and punished the whole class. School counselors tried to bring my sister and her bullies to talk it out. My sister demands we move because of how stressful it is here and how much it sucks. My parents decided that next year we will, and I told my parents there's no way I'm moving. I have 1 year left here and I'm not moving to another school and lose everything I've worked for here. Rugby team captain, honor roll, hiking club president, and I feel like I could be on student council next year. Not to mention, my girlfriend and all my friends live here. My parents want to move us across state. They've been wanting to, but promised they'd wait until we finished high school. And I told them no f***ing way I'm doing that at a dinner discussion, and I told my sister she's a selfish for trying to uproot our lives because she can't f***ing stand up for herself or take some criticism. Bullying sucks, but so f***ing what? It's a part of life and she's too much of a coward to face her problems, so she's fleeing at our expense. My sister bitches about a rude comment that she deserves once or twice a week at most. Instead of ignoring the person saying them or standing up for herself, she decides all of us need to move and accommodate her. I was severely bullied in middle school. Parents didn't do shit. They told me to handle it on my own, and that's what I did. I stood up for myself. I offered to help my sister and she refuses and tells me to go away. Also, I think it's worth mentioning my sister refuses to go to any schools nearby because they don't have ballet clubs there, so we have to go to a faraway school with one. My parents said that if I don't live with them, then we're done and I'm no longer a part of their lives. This seems to be some threat to get me to change, but f*** them for siding with my sister on this. F*** my sister too. You hear this, Veronica? Yeah, f*** you. I plan on moving with my girlfriend in the next week or so. Am I the a-hole for lashing out on my sister because we're going to have to move because of her? Ouch, OP is definitely upset. I do agree with the community that everybody sucks, but I think the sister is being really entitled on this one. And the parents aren't helping. Running away from bullies is not what you should be doing. I do understand how difficult it is to stand up to bullies because as a child I was also bullied, like everybody else, right? Additionally, if what OP says it's true, as his sister's classmate, I'd also be pissed at her for getting punished because of something that she did. But anyways, let's go check out what the community says. Nom Nom Keen says, everybody sucks. Damn, all of you suck. I think what you all need is some family counseling. You all need to talk without getting angry at each other. Okay? And now MathX Junkie says, you're the a-hole, everybody sucks here. But read what I have to say. Okay, let's be real clear. You're the a-hole for how you handled the situation at dinner with your sister and saying those things to her. You are not the a-hole because of your feelings. Your parents are also a-holes for deciding to uproot you during your senior year and issuing some sort of threat that you'll be exiled if you don't go with them. Staying with a friend should be a reasonable compromise if they really must move now. So far I agree. Are you able to try helping your sister through the bullying? It may help, rather than coming down on her like that. Clearly she's stressed and it's really bothering her, which is why I'm assuming your parents moved up their time frame to move, but bullying her more obviously won't help. Well, here's my point. Is it really bullying if the kids are angry that they got punished for something that she did and she didn't own? From what I understand, it's not like they're teasing her for being physically different or, she studies more or something. No, she got them in trouble and wouldn't own up to it. Anyways, apologize to your sister. See if there is anything you can do to help her. Talk calmly to your mom and explain that you have 1 year left and you don't want to leave, and ask her if you can make arrangements to stay with a friend or family member in the area until you go off to university. It's a reasonable request and your parents don't seem to be strangers to doing things for their children, so maybe if you approach it calmly, you'll get a better response. I'm sorry they're uprooting your life. I'm sorry your sister is being bullied. I'm sorry your parents are handing you such an unreasonable ultimatum. Everyone sorta sucks in this situation right now. So what do you think? Go ahead and write it down. Now let's move on to the final post. My father has recently gotten in touch with his sisters after some long family conflict that they finally resolved. I, 16 female, got bad vibes from my aunt, Linda, as soon as I met her. She seemed to overstep her boundaries. Immediately she asked me what I wanted to be when I got older. I told her a dermatologist and she said, "You don't seem the type to be cut out for that. Are you sure?" The next time I saw her, I made brownies for a party and she then told me they could use a little less time in the oven. She then had a conversation with me and asked about my school life. I told her I had a 4.0 GPA, was 22nd in my class out of 650, and that I was doing pretty well in AP classes. She went, "Well, my daughter, Sarah we'll call her, wasn't very smart, but she's an entrepreneur now, so it's obvious her work is still very important. And you don't have to be school smart, it's not that big of a deal." I felt this invalidated my hard work. She told me that I couldn't have a political opinion because I was 16 after she asked if I supported Trump and I said no. All this would seem to make me be not the a-hole, until this. My dad was on Zoom with Linda with me in the room, and Linda was talking about Sarah's entrepreneurship. I had went on Sarah's Facebook, where she had been consistently posting photos of her at her McDonald's job. Clearly not an entrepreneur. She was like, "OP, I hope you'll be as successful as Sarah someday." I said, "I'm sorry Linda, but please f*** off. Your daughter is not an entrepreneur, she works at McDonald's." Now, I am not invalidating anyone that works at McDonald's. A job is a job, but her lying to me was not necessary. My mother thought the interaction was quite funny, but my dad is pissed and refuses to talk to me. Am I the a-hole for telling my aunt to F off? I don't think OP is the a-hole. If she didn't have any ill intent with that McDonald's comment, not the a-hole. I do think Aunt Linda has serious self-esteem issues and is definitely trying to overcompensate for her insecurities. So now let's check out what the community says. ASCF33 says, "Damn, now this is some gourmet shit. Everybody sucks here, but it's the good kind." I don't quite understand the angle of how everybody sucks, so if anybody could explain it to me in the comment section, I'd really appreciate it. KBlueS1 says, "Not the a-hole. It was a little harsh, but you called her out on lying and that's okay. Your aunt doesn't get to constantly compare you to her daughter and act like her daughter's better. Most of all, she can't tell you her daughter's better because of a lie." I think this comment has a wrong angle. It's not about being better than another person because of their achievements. I think the comparison is unnecessary and Aunt Linda just needs to go to therapy. But again, what do you guys think? Just go ahead and write it down on the comment section. And once again, we've made it to the end of the video. I hope you liked the posts I chose for it. If you did, go ahead and press like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, just go ahead and click subscribe and become a part of this community. Alright guys, I'll see you on the next video.